comest thou in. Bless this house and all of our kin. Bless this house and all of our kin. Protect this house and all within. Blessed Bridget, come into thy bed, with a gem at thy heart and a crown on thy head. Awaken the fire within our souls. Awaken the fire that makes us whole. Blessed Bridget, Queen of the fire, help us to manifest our desires. May we bring forth all that's good and fine. May we give birth to our dreams in time. Blessed Bridget, comest thou in. Bless this house and all of our kin. From the source of infinite light, kindle the flame of our spirits tonight. Blessed Bridget, come into thy bed, with a gem at thy heart and a crown on thy head. Awaken the fire within our souls. Awaken the fire that makes us whole. Blessed Bridget, Queen of the fire, help us to manifest our desires. May we bring forth all that's good and fine. May we give birth to our dreams in time. Blessed Bridget, comest thou in. Bless this house and all of our kin. From the source of infinite light, kindle the flame of our spirits tonight.
Go ahead, Pam.
Good morning. Boy, it was so nice to see those snowdrops on those little bitty lambs. That time is coming. My name is Pam Wycliffe, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation, and welcome to everyone. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nourishing individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, and celebrating diversity and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you'd like to learn more about us, please look at our website, uufe.org. And stay afterwards. This is something additional, I'm just adding it, to the chat afterwards for our virtual coffee hour. That said, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Judy Darnell, and I'm here to present Fellowship Life. First off, the Stewardship Committee is hard at work planning our annual pledge drives to raise funds to keep things going at UUFE. So committee chairs, please get your budget requests to Ken Claiborne by February 7th so that they can set the budget and the pledge drive goals. Next, small groups meetings are commencing on Zoom with 2 meetings this afternoon, 2 on Monday and another on Wednesday. Check your email for the time, the link, and other details. This week's offering will be shared with Heart City Health Center, excuse me. Next week's will be dedicated to the UUFE Sustainability Fund, and your generosity for both of these causes is truly appreciated. Many of you have found the revived focus in your email. Many thanks to Ron Gill for his lovely introduction and for sending the newsletter to you. We have also sent a number of copies through the mail for those who do not have email. Unfortunately, we have had trouble figuring out how to post it to the website. For that, we sincerely apologize because we want to make the focus easy for everybody to access. And we're still working on that. So, and one more thing concerning the focus. The deadline for committee chairs and whoever else has something to share in the March issue. The deadline is February 25th. I have it right here in front of me and I can't read it. Parking lot news. The parking lot task force and contractor Ray Enfield have agreed on a plan for the repair work. The next step is to receive and evaluate bids and then select contractors for the project. After that, the Congress will be asked to approve funds from the endowment for payment. The board will keep us posted on the progress. And the plants at UUFE are dry and in need of water. Contact Oksana about volunteering to help, and she doesn't know about this yet. And our lovely pewter chalice, which has collected dents and scratches and dust over the years, is at a jeweler's for repairs, cleaning, and polishing. We hope to see it bright and shiny at a service soon. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. And I don't know, Judy, you might not know this, but I did look at the focus on the website this morning, so it's up there now. Great, looks great. I can't wait to sit down and read the whole thing. It looks fantastic. I'm glad that we've got that going again. As she mentioned, we have small groups starting. We have 2 today. I think we have 1 Monday evening and 1 Wednesday. If you haven't signed up yet, I put the link into the forum, or just contact one of the board members. If you want to be a part of that, you could still get in on one of these meetings that we have scheduled, because we're going to try to do at least 2 rounds. This is round 1, and we'll be having more round 1s if you haven't signed up yet, or you want to wait until we can get together. Don't wait too long though, because we need to make some decisions about some things. Pantry is in need of food. And what I did this morning, I went really early grocery shopping, and I just kind of put some stuff on one side of my cart, and that was going to be for the pantry. Yeah, Judy, we can schedule more times. We're kind of open on that, and that's why if you haven't jumped on one yet, just click on that link or contact one of us, and we will schedule something. But we have 2 this afternoon, 1 Monday night, 1 Wednesday afternoon, I believe, is the ones we have scheduled right now. Along the same lines with the pantry is, don't forget we're going to have an offertory hymn here in a little bit. Don't forget to click on the link you have to go to the website to do it. I could probably put it in the chat, but if you want to make a donation, like a plate donation, like we would do if we were in person. And also it's pledge season, you're going to be hearing more about that. So I would encourage anybody who's not pledging to think about it. And if you're pledging already, think about maybe bumping it up a little bit. All right, so it's great to see everybody here this morning. We're going to continue on with the service, and I hope you enjoy it.
We ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after and build on the dream.
Our chalice lighting is called Winter. Let us not wish away the winter. It is a season into itself. It's not simply the way to spring. When trees rest, growing no leaves, gathering no light, they let in sky and trace themselves delicately against dawns and sunsets. The clarity and brilliance of the winter sky delight. The loom of fog softens edges. It lulls the eyes and ears of quiet, awakens by risk the unquiet. A low, dark sky can snow. Emblem of individuality, liberality, and aggregate power. Snow invites to contemplation and to sport. This is our guided meditation for Mbulk. Gaze into the flame of your chalice for a few moments, then close your eyes. You will still see the image of the flame against your eyelids. Now imagine it is growing brighter and brighter. And go one step further and imagine you are standing in a place filled with the warmth and red gold light of leaping flames. Imagine, in fact, that you are standing in the entrance to a large forge in a forest where a blazing fire is roaring, and in front of it stands a woman. Thick auburn hair is tied back, but a few rippling curls have escaped around her face. She is dressed in dark green with sleeves rolled up to the elbows, revealing strong white arms. Brigid. For of course it is she, stands over a large anvil where all her concentration is focused on beating a sheet of soft gleaming bronze with a great hammer. At last she looks up and smiles at you warmly. She has finished her creation and holds it up to the light of the fire for you to see. As you look at it, it appears to continually change shape. First it seems to be a leaf, then a globe, and now it has become a star. Brigid laughs deeply, musically, and tosses the star into the air, where it sails into the night sky and takes its place among the glittering constellations. And now Bridget turns towards you and asks, "What have you come here to create?" You tell her of your vision, whether great or small, personal or for the wider community, and she beckons you over to the fire. As you look into the flames, pictures start to move, and you see yourself at work, filled with enthusiasm and passion as you make your vision a reality. You and your creation are surrounded and shot through with the golden light of inspiration. Bridget is there too, watching over you with love as you work, encouraging you and filling you with confidence and creativity. If any self-doubt or fears start to arise, see Bridget surrounding you with her mantle of protection, a warm, soft cloak of green that makes you feel safe and invaluable. Now see yourself with your vision turned into reality, feeling a sense of accomplishment and pride. Thank Bridget for showing you this vision, and ask her to tell you what your first step should be towards bringing it into reality. Listen carefully and ask her questions if you need more clarity. When you have finished the conversation with her, see the forge suddenly glow even more brightly, so that all forms and shapes, including that of Bridget herself, melt into a suffusion of golden light. And now see that that light is just the candle flame reflected on your eyelids. Slowly come back to the room. Open your eyes and write down what she has suggested. In the coming weeks, call upon Bridget to help keep your inspiration alight.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
We good? Good morning. So nice to see everybody. This is about Imbolc, which is one of the many pagan holidays that we like to celebrate. As you've noticed, the days are getting noticeably longer. The sun is slowly making its way higher in the sky. It's been about 6 weeks already since the winter solstice that marked the winter season and the longest night of the year. It's hard to believe it's been 6 weeks pretty much since Christmas already. Imbolc is a pagan holiday of Gaelic origins that marks the halfway point between winter solstice and the spring equinox. The day is celebrated with fires and typically honors the Celtic goddess Bridget. Bridget is particularly celebrated in Ireland, Irish Celtic. Christianity subverted the celebration, changed the goddess into a Christian saint. So now we have Saint Bridget. Many Irish Christians celebrate Saint Bridget's Day, with many of the pagan traditions still intact. Christianity, more specifically Catholicism, also uses this date to celebrate Candlemas, the day that Jesus was presented at the temple in Jerusalem. Candlemas also includes rituals related to the purification of the Virgin Mary. In Germanic and Norse traditions, the celebration is known as disting, or the blessing of the plow. In farming implements would be gathered, cleaned, and blessed for the upcoming planting season. Today, most people know this day as Groundhog's Day, where a groundhog predicts the coming of spring based on whether or not it sees its shadow. A shadow, by the way, means 6 more weeks of winter. No shadow means an early spring. This day is February 2nd, and it has a much richer history of celebration than most folks realize. No matter which religious tradition one follows, February 2nd has one commonality. All of the celebrations mark the midway point between the longest night of winter solstice and the coming balance of day and night with the spring equinox. Today, though, the focus of discussion in part will be on the celebration of Mbulk in the Gaelic traditions as practiced by many modern day pagans, witches, and Wiccans. Mbulk is more than just a seasonal midway point. Mbulk ties in quite nicely with the UUA's theme for January of intention, which is also the main theme of ritual with Mbulk. Oftentimes, these rituals will use fire to set one's intentions when written on a piece of paper. The written words are burned, sending the intentions to one's god or goddess. The Celtic goddess Bridget is often appealed to during these rituals, as she is the goddess of creativity, poetry, and hearth fire. In modern pagan traditions, however, any deity one connects with may be appealed to and for such intention during this ritual. In past agrarian celebrations, these intentions may have had a much more practical focus, such as with cleaning farm tools, readying the seeds, and preparing ewes for lambing season. That's why there were so many pictures of lambs in our opening music. Today, many gardeners use this ritual to set their intentions by purchasing seeds from seed catalogs. I have mine ready. It's all good. So intentions. It is said the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Good intentions mean nothing if one does not put actions to them. As the Reverend Jimmy Clifton recently clarified in his sermon from January 16th, paraphrased here, that intention is no good without action behind it, and that a better term might be impactfulness. That really appealed to me. And certainly it has values used with the implications of what Imbolc celebrates. preparations for the new growing cycle, both practically and personally. What good are the intentions of preparation if there are no actions taken to implement those intentions? In the agrarian past, lack of action would mean certain death for one's family or community in the following winter months. Today, one can attribute growth to the self as much as to tomato seeds one might plant. What preparations are you making to grow as a person? What intentions are you making or goals are you setting that need action? How are you planning on making an impact on the wider world and on yourself? Imbolc represents an opportunity in the new year to focus on the impactfulness of one's intentions. At Imbolc, a simple fire ritual is often used to set one's impactful intentions. This ritual involves writing down one's intention or goal on a slip of paper and ink. The paper is then burned either by a candle flame or in the hearth fire. Fire pits work too. The smoke takes the intention or goal into the air, delivering the message to one's deity of understanding as a form of prayer. Deities are not necessary for this ritual, however. This ritual can be done as a way to promote greater focus, as a form of active meditation on how one wants to grow, set goals, or make impactful changes. Now, Mbulk is in February, and the UUA's theme for February is Whitening the Circle. This is perfect because pagans use circles a lot. This celebration lies wonderfully between the two themes of living with intention and widening the circle. Circles are sacred symbols in most pagan traditions. The circle is a time-age symbol to begin with. Circles are generally cast or created at the beginning of rituals, making sacred space in which the ritual takes place. Sometimes actual circles are created using some material placed on the ground, such as chalk, rope, or we've used candles in our rituals. Electric candles, nobody got burned. Or even scratching in the earth outside. Most times a circle is created by someone simply walking clockwise around the space that will be used for ritual, reciting a blessing of intention for the space. Circles figure prominently in our lives in a similar way. We have our circle of friends who provide inclusion, acceptance, and a sense of safety for us. One can think of UUFE as a circle in that sense. So what if UUFE's impactful intentions then were to focus on widening its circle? Imbolc provides a wonderful opportunity to consider this answer. Many members of UUFE, from the membership committee to the board, have discussed the need for drawing more people to our church. It's a numbers game. But how do we do that? It will certainly be an important topic of discussion moving forward through possible ministerial search and beyond. How does UUFE widen its circle to draw in more people? And this is at a time where churches all over are seeing decreasing numbers. Young people don't feel the need. More importantly, who does UUFE want to include in that circle? Who do we want in our circle? Figuring out the who will then allow for the how to bring folks into the circle. Circles are powerful symbols that can create a place of safety and belonging to those within. Yet circles can also be a symbol of exclusion too. So how does UUFE want to include in the widening circle? By congregational vote, we went through the official steps to become a welcoming, with a capital W, congregation, a safe place for LGBTQ individuals. By congregational vote, we chose to potentially harbor undocumented immigrants in need of safe space while proceeding through the legal system. UUFE covenanted with pagans to form our CUPS group, part of the Circle Pagans. Our congregation has supported organizations such as the NAACP and BLM in the fight for civil and voting rights. On the surface, it would seem that UUFE casts a pretty wide circle to begin with. Yet many in these diverse groups don't attend UUFE on Sunday. They don't sign the membership book, and they don't seem to feel welcomed within the circle for whatever reason. It would seem that our circle is not as wide and inclusive as we might believe. And this is not to suggest that our congregation intentionally excludes anyone. No, by no means, no. In the past, folks were greeted warmly and with smiles. I have absolutely no doubt that that will remain the case in future when our doors can open again. Yet there seems to be something within our circle that keeps some folks from returning, from truly feeling included. There seems to be something that keeps some from visiting us in the first place. The answers to these observations need to come from within the circle itself. That means those on the outside of the circle are not the focus of discussion, as we, as a congregation, are the focus. As UUFE moves forward with small group discussions and planning for the future, looking at ourselves with critical eyes and minds will be the hardest yet most important step we can do. Our impactful intentions for actually widening our circle must do this hard work of self-examination. And that is a frightening task for many of us. If we look in the mirror, what will we see as a congregation? What will we actually see? How is that vision reflected to the greater community? I often see a road paved with good intentions. I see a group of really intelligent people who talk the talk, but don't always walk the walk of our intentions. Our congregation has not had a functioning social justice group to organize our UUFE circle to walk the walk of our talk. And by that, I mean as a congregation, not all the wonderful work that individuals do out in our community. Our former minister was the public reflection. All of our former ministers were the public reflection of our circle and to many in the community, like it or not, for good or bad. I see the minister as a frame or a handle of the congregational mirror, not the mirror itself. Which of us is going to reflect an impactful image of UUFE to the community from now on? I see a somewhat broken mirror, with each congregant only seeing themselves in their little piece of broken mirror, wondering why others don't see the same image or content to only see themselves reflected back. UUFE needs to assemble the pieces so that instead of each individual, we see a community within the circle. A minister can act as the framework to hold the mirror of the congregation together, and that will certainly be something we will need to consider moving forward. For too long, UUFE has been a collection of individuals who function as individuals socially, but not very well as a collective group with impact. I would contend that the lack of impact in our in our community as a unified congregation has kept some from wanting to join our circle. And I can only speak for myself. This is who I want to invite into our circle here at UUFE. People who want to impact our community as part of this larger circle. I want activists, rabble-rousers, rebels and unionizers here to help organize UUFE's intentions into actions. Not as individuals doing our own thing, but as a collective, a group of folks willing to support one another in worthy causes by banding together as a church. I want people who know how to work together in community at UUFE. We do a pretty good job inside, but I want to take that unity that we show each other inside our church to the greater community. Privilege has allowed folks to do their own thing in a community for too long. Now it is time to rethink this privilege and join together as a whole community called UUFE for the causes that we all support. There is strength in numbers, and it casts a wider circle. If this were an answer to the who we want at UUFE, then the how of attracting them becomes clearer. For that, we need active groups of folks covering various causes to plug these newcomers into. We have done this. It's not something new to us, but we've had varying success with this. What needs to be different, what needs to change this go around is a total congregational support system for these various groups. This is where we haven't always done so well. Active engagement by the whole congregation as a congregation for one another is what will put action to our intentions in an impactful way. There is no longer a minister to shoulder the blame if the reflection of UUFE isn't what we want it to be. There is only us now. We are what will publicly reflect UUFE as a community. We are what will widen our circle. All of this will take shifting how we think about our UUFE circle and changing our attitudes and perceptions of UUFE. This will be hard mental and emotional work, no doubt. This will be going beyond our comfort zone if we are to have an impact in the community. So what might this different approach look like? As before, we cultivate leaders for different causes within the community wonderfully. It is one of our strong suits. These folks become the go-to connection for newcomer interests, like it's always been. We have this down pat. What would look different is congregational involvement with these various causes. For example, I'm active with a nonprofit called Catsnip, etc. Many folks know already I foster cats and kittens for them and support this group as I can financially. Now, in the past, a newcomer might come expressing interest in animals and would be introduced to me as a congregant also interested in animals, cats specifically. And that is where congregational involvement would typically end, as an individual with a similar interest. Casting a wider circle in the community would mean that UUFE would also support Catsnip, etc., beyond the periodic donation. This would mean I would be the community contact for the organization, and I would then communicate events and opportunities for the whole congregation to volunteer as UUFE, not as a bunch of people from UUFE, but as UUFE. This will require a shift in how we think of community involvement as not a choice to make to be involved, but rather an expectation of the congregation to be involved. When a group shows up to support causes rather than just individuals, the community notices. This certainly isn't a new view of how our congregational circle should function in the community. It has been debated before and deemed not really worthy of much action. Individuals doing their individual activities in the community has some impact on the community, but little impact on widening our congregational circle. Now is the time to change how we want to reflect in the community by actively changing our approach to community service. Now is the time to actively support one another by coming together as a whole congregation in our community. It is how we will be seen as a wide circle, inviting others in within our community. If we are to grow and widen our circle, it is one way we haven't used in a very long time. We have nothing to lose and potentially much to gain from this approach. So as Mbulk arrives this February 2nd, to set our impactful intentions for the coming year and beyond, let us make the actionable commitment to change our perceptions and attitudes about who we want to be, who we want to attract to UUFE, and how we want to be seen as a congregation so that our circle might widen to the greater community. So mote it be, blessed be, and amen.
Wow, that was great. Wonderful. You have turned down the gauntlet in a lot of ways, as Judy said. One thing, I'm supposed to speak in 2 weeks, and now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to follow that. I wanted to say also, small groups starting today. We have 2 today, and I've been corrected a couple times. We have a Monday morning and a Monday evening and a Wednesday afternoon. So we're trying to make them all different times. So if you're not involved in a group and you want to jump on one of those times, just email me or one of the other board members or give us a call and we'll try to get you set up on that. Okay, so we've got another hymn and benediction and then the postlude, and we'll be ready for coffee hour.
Today's benediction is by the Native American Sioux Black Elk. It's called the Sacred Hoop. When I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and round beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw. For I was seeing in the sacred manner the shape of all things of the spirit, and the shapes as they must live together like one being. And I saw the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that make one circle, wide as daylight and starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy.